And we are back, another edition of Sean and Spin in the Morning. Sean, Spin in the Morning. Episode 16. What are we at? May 21st. Nice little Wednesday edition. Shawnee, how we doing? Look, you got the World Series shit going, or is that the pennant? What is that?
This is the 2008 World Series. My grandparents actually got me this. This is awesome. Remember this play? That play up at the top? One of the coolest plays I've ever seen was when Chase Utley got it up the middle, faked the first, tossed him out at home. Sick. And then at the bottom there, it's just like a postcard of that team. See, this team had heart. This team didn't have a guy with that guy was taking a weight loss drug. Ryan Howard was looking big over at first, and he liked looking big.
It was slim big. It was slim thick. By the way, that call on that Utley by Joe Buck is like a notorious terrible fucking call.
Because it's Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Joe Buck is like the most bland human being, and like he's got the coolest job in the world, but he was just bland back in the day.
Yeah, I like his daddy. His daddy was good.
Yeah, but anyway, the Alvarado thing's still weighing on me a little bit. It sucks. Hate what's gonna have to happen because we're gonna have to trade away pieces to get a bullpen piece. But that's besides the point. We'll get into it later. It's time for everybody's favorite recap segment, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it right, Spin?
Everybody's favorite recap segment where we recap yesterday's games today in 90 seconds. Hard 90s. Everyone loves hard 90s. And we haven't done hard 90s about a week, so this could be like a very hard 80s. Or no, I always downplay. It could be like a 120 here. Anyway. And the clock starts now. Let's start in the NL Central. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just edged them out. 1-0 game. Bailey, not your falter. Well, he got a win, so good for you. Bednar gets a save. But look for him as a trade deadline piece when you need a reliever. Get Bednar. I'm just fucking around. Okay, my Cubs in Miami. Now from a close game. That was the last game was 1-0. This is 14-1. The Cubs poured it on to them. Tyone, I should have picked him up in fantasy. He shoved. Good little streamer there if you like them. Mets at Boston. Another close one, though. Boston, 2-0. Mets lost 3 in a row now. So you love to see that. Whitlock gets a win. Lost to Holmes. Chapman keeps doing his thing in the pen. Braves and Washington. Washington wins 5-3. Strider makes a return. Didn't look great. Houston and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 3-2. Tampa Bay 3-2. They're going to split that series right now. So today's the rubber match. Good for Tampa Bay to hang with the big dogs there because Houston was on one. Texas and the Yankees. Will Warren. If it ain't Warren, it's boring. Yankees win the first one there, 5-2. Love to see that. They get to Patrick Corbin, who didn't look bad this year so far. Padres, Toronto 3-0 there. Cease stinks. Padres stink. Don't like either of those teams. Never did. Or don't like either of those people. Never did. Seattle, Chicago, White Sox. White Sox win 1-0. They just edge them out there. Baltimore, Milwaukee 5-2. Baltimore continues to lose. They lost like 8 in a row. They're terrible. Detroit, St. Louis. Detroit takes this one. This was game 2. We'll see the rubber match today in a very good series. Canley gets a save. By the way, Skubal didn't look bad. Arenado took him deep. Phillies, Colorado. Phillies win. What else do you expect? Luzardo looks great. KC, San Fran. San Fran wins that one. KC got to get back on track today. Angels, A's. Angels 7-5. So the A's got to get back on track. Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Dodgers. Dodgers and Yamamoto got that one there. And that's everyone. That was a bad 90s today. Very bad. Cleveland and Minnesota was the other one then. And then that got PPD'd. that whole series has been a clusterfuck because they got whatever happened in 2 days ago, and then the game at all yesterday didn't happen at all. So they're like replaying a doubleheader and like way down the road. Like today's game was yesterday, and then they have to replay 2 days ago's game way down, whatever.
And they have to start this game where they finish. I think there was like 2-1 in the 6th or something like
No,
that.
I think it was like the 4th.
The 4th, okay. So
that
yeah,
was 2 days ago, and then
really,
they're doing a whole thing.
It always feels like Little League whenever I see like a Major League Baseball team doing that. It's like nuts. It's 2-1. It's going to resume. It's going to be the first game. Actually not the first game, but it's going to start at 1:10 today. So yeah, so some pretty notable things.
Makeup on September 20th is when yesterday's game is going to be.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, anyway, hard 90, something Soto's I'm familiar with. So we're actually going to get into that in our vibe check. So we wanted to talk about some notable things today. And kind of the most glaring one right now is all of the I want to say, me personally, much deserved hate that Juan Soto is getting. Because if Juan Soto was out there looking like he was actually giving a shit about baseball, actually hustling out plays, being the person they paid for, I would not give him much slack for struggling at the plate, because he still hasn't really turned around. I mean, the homers are coming here and there, not in spurts like he normally does. His average is down, and he looks like he just doesn't want to be there. It looks like the Yankees series like sucked the life out of him. Like he saw what he could have been with the Yankees. Now he's with the Mets, and it looks like he's a little hurt. Like his little feelings got hurt. Oh, Juan Soto, you're making the most money ever. I'm Juan. Like I have no sympathy for the fucking guy because he just doesn't hustle right now.
Yeah, his new girlfriend's uglier than his ex. I hate to see it. But yeah, this guy, yeah, it's tough. You can't make excuses for him when you're getting paid that much money. There really should be no excuses for him. But when you are getting paid that much, you're under a microscope. You're pretty much already under a microscope as it is when you are a superstar.
And in New York.
And in New York, that's a good point. In New York or any big market, really. I mean, you can make the comparison to when Harper first came over to Philly. He was getting booed when he got paid that big contract. He wasn't living up to expectations in probably the first half of the season. He ended up putting together a very quiet, good season. You know, was it 2019?
Yeah,
2019, his first year. And then, I mean, that's his career high in ribbies was that year, but he very quietly went about his business. He wasn't like totally, the fans were booing him in the first half. And but the thing that makes Harper different is that Harper was never a not hustler. He always played with a fire lit under his ass. The bats can go through slumps, but your attitude can't. The way how hard you play the game, your base running. So there's things that you can control, like your attitude and all these things, your emotions, and your how chipper you're gonna be, your effort. All that stuff. Where Soto his body language doesn't look good, and when you're already under a microscope, you're going to get judged. I mean, people are going to judge the way someone made this point. People are going to judge the way he brushes teeth, the way he fucking parks his car, just because he is getting paid that much money. Everyone's going to be a critic. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, you can't be looking lackadaisical going down that line. There's been a handful of examples now.
And even when he's out in right field, like he's not like looking like he's hustling after baseballs. He looks like he's giving up on plays.
He's the last one out to his position every time.
That's what I'll just never understand with a guy that's getting paid that much money. You're supposed to be this young superstar. You're supposed to be a leader, especially when you're getting paid that much. They paid you to be the leader of this team for the next couple of years. Obviously, they have Lindor, who's the actual leader. But you like Soto. These guys see him. Oh, you're getting this much money, and this is how you're acting. Like his teammates have had his back. His coach has his back. And also another thing, he is horrible with the media. His quotes are like, I mean, he's had some bad ones. And now once again, it is New York, so you're under more of a microscope, and you're gonna see more of these things, right? You're not always gonna say the right thing. But like the shit he said about like Pete earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
Like Pete was playing at an MVP level at the time. Yeah, he ain't Judge, but he ain't bad either. Like it's it's wild to me because he's coming from the Yankees, who are you're under even more of a microscope with the Yankees, to the Mets. Still is New York, but he's got to realize these things. And once again, who are we? We're sitting here with a podcast with one viewer in it, but like it's like but we see these things and we're gonna comment on it. And guess what? Everybody else is also gonna comment on it too.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing with the Soto, right? And to your point with the media, he was just asked recently about his hustling, and he was like, "I think I was hustling." Or something. This was
Yeah,
in
I
Boston
saw that.
after
Yeah.
after he like kind of dog walked it on the ball off the monster. Now, here's the thing with that one though. Let me finish my original thought. Uh, when they asked the manager Carlos Mendoza about the same thing, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll talk about it," which is good for Mendoza to say
Mhm.
because you want to have these conversations behind closed doors. That's something that I feel like we haven't got a lot of this year, especially with the Soto's original comments to the Devers shit to a lot of stuff. These are fucking comments for behind closed door stuff. Don't give the media and like you said, don't give our dumbasses something to run with and talk about. Behind closed doors is better because we've seen a handful of times people take things to meet the media and it's never a good idea. Well, either way, so the thing with the monster then, because this was what happened on Monday, what kind of amplified it because it was everything that happened over the weekend in the Bronx, and now it's like it's continuing to happen in Fenway. When he hits the ball, kind of oppo off the monster, it was kind of like middle off the wall, and he kind of like pimp jobbed it. Maybe he thought he hit a homer, but he only gets a single out of it. Okay, fine. We see that a lot though in Fenway. I'm gonna kind of be a little more of a devil's advocate, give him benefit of the doubt. We see that a lot a lot in Fenway, especially where you hit a ball off the monster. The home team especially knows how to play those caroms. It's their home ballpark, and I guess it was Duran out there, and he guns it in. Maybe he gets a single out of it anyway. And granted, he ends up stealing the base, like in that during that at bat. Maybe the next pitch he steals the base, so he does end up on second. But okay, fine. A lot of times you do see guys hit singles off the monster because whatever, guys play it well. We see it. We see it all the time. That's nothing new. So fine, maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt, but the fact that it gets talked about is because it gets amplified. One, he's under a microscope. Two, he's Juan Soto. Three, he's getting the money. Four, he wasn't hustling in New York. The 2 or 3 days prior to that. So now this gets amplified even more, and they're losing. They've now lost 3 in a row. If you're winning, and if Soto things were going right for Soto, if Soto has 15 home runs right now and he's hitting 280 plus, no one probably is talking about it. If the Mets don't lose 3 in a row, maybe no one gives a shit. But his body language looks bad. He wasn't hustling. Now every play looks worse when you're losing, when you're not playing up to par. And now you have a little bit of a track record. You've put that repertoire on yourself right now, or you put that rapport on yourself. You gave yourself that. Now everything's going to look worse, whether it is or not. So even something as minute as what that could have been is going to get amplified because of the situation he put himself in right now.
Yeah, and also one thing and this was kind of all over my Twitter as well was, did you see the Lindor thing? Him getting hit like kind of almost like leaning into it. It's one,
Oh, Kai, yeah, yeah.
and
Did he though?
they come out to like make their case, and Lindor starts chirping at him, like chirping at people, and I'm like, you really have no business to stay. Like, you did it, you did it, and I don't think Lindor's that kind of player in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, that was extremely shocking of me to see. If you see the clip, go look at the clip, kind of thing. It was extremely shocking for me to see Lindor do that. But then Walker Bueller getting thrown out in the third inning for arguing balls and strikes. I think he was legitimately like, "That's right down the fucking middle. Fuck you," to the umpire. But lit a fire under his team. Obviously, bullpen came in, handled business against a Mets team who we know can have a potent offense. So that was a good win, good 2 wins for Boston coming off. We were starting to have some questions about them because we know they got the roster and they weren't really doing a whole lot. Maybe Walker Bueller doing that. It's gonna Walker. What do they call him? Walker fucking Bueller, living up to the name or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, what's the so another thing we want to talk about that I was touching on a little bit earlier. Phil's not only atop the NL East, but correct me if I'm wrong, best record in the NL right now.
They do. They do, huh? How about that?
Now, listen, hey, they played bad teams. They swept the Pirates, got 2 wins off of the Rockies. But what we always say is good teams handle this kind of business. They have to handle business when they can, especially with this Alvarado news coming out. It was huge to do what they're doing right now. Win 3 straight since it's coming out. Jesus Luzardo is on a Cy Young campaign right now. He looks unbelievable. Still a sub 2 ERA. Had his highest pitch count of the year last night. Still looked great. Kyle Schwarber, extend him right now. Don't extend him till he's 42. Just extend him. He's playing unbelievable baseball right now. I think he's leading the league in home runs. Harper, shaved head Harper, coming back around, batting. Hold on, I got the stats right here. He's batting .464 since the shaved head. It's a game of superstitions. Harper's gonna have to keep that shaved head till it dies down. I'm a big fan of what the Phillies are doing right now. Their lineup is looking more complete. Turner's batting over 300. Bohm's coming back alive. Stotty's still being Stotty. The role players are starting to play really well. Marsh is getting clutch hits. It's maybe I was hoping this team's kind of like kicking the ass was just maybe getting this stretch of just bad teams because we're going to get into our power rankings later where I'm going to touch a little bit more on their strength of schedule and stuff like that. But hey, I'm happy for my Phils. I'm happy where it's at. I'm happy how they're looking right now. Good teams beat bad teams.
Well, not only do they have the best record in the NL, they're definitely the hottest team in the NL, maybe the hottest team in baseball. 8-2 in their last 10. The only one better is Minnesota, who's 9-1 if you're going all the baseball. But Phillies have a 5-game win streak. Yeah. So no one else has that. Well, actually, maybe the Angels do. But
the Angels do have a 5-game win streak.
But either way, Phillies, I think they're the hottest team in baseball right now. Again, strength of schedule, but that's what you need. You need a kick in the ass. And it's not like what they're doing, you can't knock them for that. Okay, good teams beat bad teams. We always say it, but at the same time, it's not like they haven't beat up on good teams. They've stayed afloat, and then when they had a time to pounce, they've pounced. Meanwhile, the Mets are kind of trending in that opposite direction because the Mets didn't win that Subway Series. They lose a Subway Series, and then they come into Boston. Boston took the first 2. Boston's back at 500 now. So they were under 500 when the Mets came into town, and the Mets lost the first 2 against an under 500 Red Sox team to put them at 500. So who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Good teams are taking care of business, and then some teams are trending down. So we'll see how that continues to go. But good for the Phils. They kind of deserve it. And what I would really love to see is the Braves to shoot up on the fucking Mets' ass.
Well, the Braves, I think they should. But speaking of the Braves, Spencer Strider is coming back. Hasn't looked great so far this year. Granted, he is coming off an injury, a pretty bad injury on top of that. Like they had to sit him again. Do you think it's just him not getting the reps that he needs so far? Is he going to return to that Spencer Strider, or are they kind of, pushing him back a little bit too fast? Should he have spent a little more time in the minors, getting more reps in before he gets back up here? Or what are you thinking?
I don't know about that noise. I feel like if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. He's only had 2 starts this year, so he started the year on the IL. He came back. It didn't look bad. He ends up getting a loss in Toronto on his first game back about a little over a month ago. 5 innings, 2 earned there. So not the worst stuff. He does get a loss, and that's back when the Braves were playing extremely bad baseball. So 5 innings, 2 earned. You don't get run support on that team. Now they're playing a little bit better. He played against them, in theory, a better matchup for him. 4 1/3, 4 earned against Washington. It's not like the end of the world. I don't know if he was like rushed back. But I do think it will take some time for him to get going again. He's got the Padres on Sunday. He'll be at home. That'll be his first start at home this season. So maybe that'll be good for him. But yeah, I don't know if he's been rushed back. I don't know about that noise. I feel like as long as he's playing, he's healthy. And if he's healthy, he shouldn't be. And if he's not healthy, then don't play. So I don't know if he's been rushed back like that, but I do think it won't be. It'll take some time for him to get back to his. And there's a time he used to get Cy Young fucking votes. So it'll take time for him to get back to that type of shit. But maybe I think the Padres at home could be good for him. The Padres are not trending in the right direction. He'll finally be at home. Could be decent. Could be decent.
That was the next one I was going to bring up was the Padres. I have to rescind what I said earlier about them. I didn't do my research. Their starting rotation is good with Pivetta and King. Cease has looked like crap this year. We know their bullpen's got some arms in it. They look really well. And their top 3 hitters could all be all-stars in Merrill, Tatis, Machado. But the supporting cast of the Padres is horrible. It is bad. This is a team that was 14-3 at one point, who's sitting below 500, I'm pretty sure, coming from in April and May. They are starting to come back down to earth. You think you need your Xander Bogaerts, you need your role players like Gavin Sheets, who was hot at the beginning of the year, to stay hot this year. It's the Padres are a weird mix. I know you're not high on them.
Never.
But I kind of wanted to get more of your 2 cents about them and what you're thinking right now with them.
So this is I like looking at it like this. Well, they're still 1.5 games back. So what are you going to do? And they were good and they are exciting and they can win games. It's not like they stink. So at a certain 1 week, they could be good. Next week, they're not. So what are you going to do? You just got to call it as you see it. What I don't like is that you look at their runs scored. I mean, they're not like an offense that crushes ass. There's an under 500 Milwaukee team has more runs scored than that. I mean, they have the Diamondbacks, who are below them in the standings, have way more, over 56 more runs scored than that. So they don't give up a lot of runs, but they still have less than 200 runs scored. And for perspective, I mean, the Dodgers have 281. That's really good. The Diamondbacks are below them with 255. So I don't like that they don't really score a lot of runs. That they don't have a lot of runs against. But I don't like this team that they're probably one of the, for an over 500 team, that's not a lot of runs scored. That's what scares me about them. I mean, and we knew that on paper they have a bit of a top heavy lineup. And I think that's something they can get exposed. Now their pitching and their bullpen has been good. Don't love Cease. He has to find it. Do we like Pivetta long term? Maybe people do. Well, he has to prove it to me first. But either way, never high on this team. We always say about Mets are going to Met. I put that on the bottom. Padres are going to Padre. This is not a historically good team. I've never bet on them because they don't know how to win. They can't sustain long-term shit. The only time they were ever good. So I think I made this point on the show before. Back in circa 2012, they were supposed to be good. They made all these. They always sucked when we were growing up. Then they were supposed to be good. They made all these pieces. They brought in Matt Kemp and the Upton brothers and, dare I say, Will Myers that year. I don't know. They made all these fucking moves. And I think they brought in James Shields that year. They made all these fucking moves. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember being a little jit and being like, oh my gosh, the Padres, maybe they do something for once in my life, right? No, they didn't. They stunk. And at that point forward, ever since I was a little boy, this was like a villain origin story, how I hate the Padres. Ever since I was a little baby, now I remember that. And I say, every time you think the Padres are going to be good, they're not good. I say it every fucking year. The only time they proved me wrong is when they made that championship run and when the Phillies beat them in 22.
Yeah.
Only time I've been wrong on that. Other than that, I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year. No, they did. They did make the year before they didn't. So it's they're up and down. They're up and down. And it's I just can't bet on a team that's consistently up and down, but even more in the grand scheme of things, consistently dog shit. Padres are going to Padre. I don't like that they don't score a lot of runs. Top heavy team. Now, granted, can they stay afloat? Who knows? Because the division's hard. But you'd like to believe they can stay afloat. And then come trade deadline time, they can make some good moves. They haven't been shy when it comes to making moves in the past few years. But again, they're in a now or never situation as well. They have a lot of guys who are free agents in the offseason, and if Machado's one of their main dudes, he's only getting fucking older. So they're not in the greatest of spots. They have to win now, and I doubt they do. I have them missing the playoffs this year. Not going back in my preseason rankings, baby. Love it.
Yeah, but you think of the talent that's around him. You have Luis Arias, who we're fans of because we love batting average. Batting average, I hate it when people say that. Yeah, I hate when people say that it doesn't mean anything. It means something to have a guy on base all the time. It does. It puts pressure on a defense. I don't know where this narrative came from. I don't even care if the game's changing. Batting average means something. But then you have Xavier Bogaerts, who's hitting 247 this year. a little lackluster. He at one point was a high average guy, hitting bombs, playing good defense as well. Gavin Sheets is still hitting 283, but like he was a monster in the beginning of the year. He's trending a little bit downwards. Jason Hayward wearing the new threads, batting 185. Jake Cronenworth, Jake Cronenworth was my biggest role player in fantasy last year, who probably won me a lot of series last year because he played some damn good baseball and he was a plug and piece. But he's in 261, so not terrible. But it seems like that their offense, it's either you have like Machado's going to consistently hit well at 310, but then like Tatis is playing at an MVP level. I know Merrill was hurt for a little bit. He's back and still looks decent, but like we said, they're top heavy, and that's scary in a MLB season that is so long because these guys aren't going to stay hot for forever. You need your role players like the Yankees. The Yankees role players they're playing good baseball right now. It's because the Yankees role players are also doing it. Judge couldn't do it by himself forever. Now you have your belly doing it. Paul Goldschmidt's still looking well. Jason Dominguez is looking better at the plate. Like you need your role players to play a factor, and I just don't have that much confidence in the role players of the Padres anymore.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of these guys aren't going to be hot forever, but they won't be. Some of these guys won't be cold forever either. In theory, now the thing that scares me about the Padres is what's the track record out of Gavin Sheets? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So that's why. How do you bet on that?
Yeah.
What's the track record on a Cronenworth? You might have liked him last year. I tend to think Cronenworth is tickling the overrated side of things. I used to really.
He had a good year last year, but every other it's just been iffy.
He hasn't been too consistent. He won a Rookie of the Year. He beat out Bowman.
Jeff McNeil.
Yeah, McNeil's kind of the same way. Like, I think we're over enough on McNeil, but he's been. But either way, with Cronenworth, yeah, I mean, I don't even. He needs to be a big piece there. Like Bogarts has been playing a bit better, but like they need Cronenworth. He'd be a great kind of middle piece there. You kind of know who your top 4 hitters are in some way, shape, or form, right? Arias, Tatis, Machado, Merrill. In some way, shape, or form, you like those guys. The next cast of dudes who can kind of be in the middle of that order is a Cronenworth. They need I guess Bogarts too. Cronenworth is kind of, they look for him to be a similar production guy, but from the left side. And then you look, Gavin Sheets was like a godsend early. But if that's like your middle towards the bottom of the order, your next cast of guys, I just don't know how much I could bet on them. Bogarts has been waking up lately, but not that he's had the greatest Padre tenure. So I don't know. We'll see how they continue to tread. I think they will compete. It's not like I have them like not making the playoffs and they won't be close. Like they're probably going to win 89 games this year, but I just don't see them being. I think the Diamondbacks are a 90-win team. The Dodgers are going to be, probably like 100 wins or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see how and again, their biggest competitors might not even be in that division. They just have to stay afloat enough and maybe find a wild card spot because the NL East isn't as strong as some people thought, because the Braves, a lot of people had 3 teams.
Yeah.
Right now, the Braves have not been made it a 3-team race, but they very well could. So if the Padres are competing more with something like that, then maybe, but they can do enough to stay afloat for the long term.
This is the last thing I'll say about the Padres, and it's exactly what you kind of just touched on. If they can stay afloat, right? If they can battle in that division, NL in general is it's the harder conference than the AL. And especially that NL West division. If they can stay afloat and they can push to be in the playoffs, you'd like to think that the pieces that they have in their starting rotation, if C's can find it, having that 3 with that bullpen that they have there, and then the star power of Machado, Merrill, and Tatis, come playoff times in those shorter series, it is a scary team on paper to play.
Yeah.
And so it's just if they can stay afloat, if they can string together some more streaks, get some more wins in, which we'll see.
We'll see how their grit looks down the line too. I mean, I tend to think a team like Arizona has a little more grit.
Yeah.
Where the Dodgers
agree with that. I've never thought Machado was a gritty guy.
They might have a little more flash in San Diego.
Yeah.
A little more flash, a little more, little more hips. They got a lot of hips there, but I don't know if Diamondbacks. I think grit's going to prevail, and the Diamondbacks, they got you in pitching too.
But also, so another thing for our vibe check here is the A's seem to be coming back down to earth. Had that hot start, now sitting at last place, 5 games under in the 5 games under 500, 6 games back in the division. Which, I mean, listen, if you would have told me the A's would have even had a push at any time this year, would have been cool to see. The organization gave up on them, so I wish the best for the boys out in West Sacramento. But the Angels.
Yeah.
7-3 in their last 10, 5-game win series, coming hot off of the Dodgers sweep, winning 2 more this series. But the biggest news is right now in the AL Central, there are 4 teams in the playoffs. If the season ended today, Detroit, Minnesota, Cleveland, Kansas City all would be in the playoffs right now. Which
How
is
do you like that?
insane. I don't think anybody would have guessed that. The streak that Minnesota went on, awesome. How good Detroit has been. I think Detroit has the best record in baseball. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kansas City, you've obviously been high on. But the Guardians, Jose Ramirez, coming to life, hitting the shit out of the ball. We're big J-Rom fans on this pod here, or at least I am. Love J-Rom. He's a beast. But then it's almost kind of intel to how lackluster Boston has been. How lackluster kind of the West has been, with Texas getting off to a slow start and Houston kind of being middle of the road. So that is pretty cool, with 4 teams coming out of one division right now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. And actually, 3 of them repping a little bit of losing streaks right now. But no,
I know.
it's only a 1 game, and a 4-game for Cleveland. So they got to figure it the fuck out if they want to hang, because this is a division where it seems like, you're running with the wolves, and if you trip, you can get trampled. So, I don't think anyone thought that either. I certainly didn't. But I think the crazier part is that there were 3 playoff teams out of this division last year, and still no one believed in the Central. And now they're showing everybody, hey, like, we're still a big deal. Now, is it because everyone's so even in the Central? There's not like one king of the hill, even though Detroit has kind of been there. Is it like, you're going to play a lot of teams in your own division, you figure? I don't know how many divisional games have been – they do play less divisional games than you used to. The schedules had changed. But do you play these teams and you're kind of going head-to-head, and Minnesota, Cleveland is more of an even matchup, so they win and lose against each other, where if they would play teams in like maybe Toronto is like an even match for them, but if Toronto's 1 game under and they're in the East. Does that even make sense? Did I make sense there?
No, you were kind of rambling, but
well, I won't even elaborate, but because I don't think it's true. But
what's more surprising is not that there's 4 teams in the NL Central, but it's just how bad some of these other teams started. Like the Rangers and their injuries kind of propelled them to be like and Astros being extremely middle of the road, and Boston just not putting it together at all. Those 3 shock me more than – actually, I won't say that because I never thought the Twins were going to be good. But, like, the Guardians have always been a middle-of-the-road team. Kansas City, we were both high on. Love what's coming out of Detroit. Love seeing the boys from Motown do what they're doing. But, it's it is one of the more shocking things.
So who stays and who goes?
Detroit stays. I think Detroit definitely is. I know you don't, but I think Detroit stays. I think they're a much more complete team than you do. You need to start putting some fucking respect on those boys over there in Detroit, because they just keep proving like kind of us wrong in general. They got a leader over there. They stay. Kansas City shoots up. Minnesota shoots down. Boston shoots up. Rangers shoot up.
And Seattle shoots down?
I would say yes.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm not big on the Mariners still. I don't care that they're 27-20. Lackluster pitching. I mean, they're still doing it, and their 2 aces are hurt, aren't they?
Who's that?
Gilbert and Kirby.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, listen, there's things to talk about with the Mariners still doing what they're doing, and also fucking Julio Rodriguez still not looking great. I mean, they're getting better. They're getting a lot out of their supporting cast, which in J.P. Crawford, like Cal Riley, probably an all-star this year. Jorge Polanco as well. But I do think the Rangers have a better team once everybody gets off that injury bug, and we have obviously liked the rotation a little bit more, but I don't think Minnesota's going to keep it going. They're going to be the Twins at some point. Just another, like kind of the point you made about the Padres earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Twins have kind of been bad for a good majority of lately, at least. Loved Joe Mauer back in the day, but I mean, come on. Like you had Joe Mauer and the big lefty of Justin Morneau sitting at first, but like it's kind of up in there. What do you think?
About the Twins specifically, or just
Like who do you think rises and who do you think falls?
Yeah, it's tough to disagree with that. I mean, I don't think Boston's a 500 team. I think they're a little bit better than that. I do think they're a playoff team. So with that being said, I mean, Yankees are going to stay in first place, but Boston, if we have over 500 team, will make a push for maybe like a 5 seed or something like that. Does that make sense? 5 seed, I guess. I mean, the way Detroit's playing, it's tough to not count them in as a playoff team. It's just I'm also don't want to go back on my preseason predictions, but my preseason predictions only had one team coming out the Central. That seems unlikely right now. So it seems like Detroit will. They're trying to punch their ticket. They're trying to punch their fucking ticket, making a damn good case to do that. I like Texas a lot to still win that division. I still think Texas is the most complete team in that division. I mean, that just shows you how much I don't like Seattle. Now, Seattle's been interesting because they've been getting some good support with their offense. Like offensively, they've been doing it. And all eyes were on their pitching staff early. Now, despite some injuries to that starting rotation, the offense has been seriously picking it up. So good for them in Seattle to prove that they can, give you a good 1 through 5, maybe a 1 through 6. And there's been some, scrappy supporting cast dudes to really step up greatly for them. And hey, Brian Wu is probably considered their ace right now. Maybe they get a few other good outings here and there. The guys start to come back for them. They could be a scary team. They probably have the best closer in baseball too. So that's reassuring if you're Seattle but again, I figured that they were going to win games like this, do enough offensively, but get good outings from their starting rotation, hand it over to the bullpen, and let Munoz do his thing. Kind of how I figured before the season. I kind of compared their style of winning to Cleveland at the beginning of the season. I have both of those teams winning in that same fashion. Now, granted, Seattle's offense has been better than I gave it credit for, so that helps you more, and that's why they're in first place. But in terms of complete teams, I mean, it's not like Texas on paper that their pitching staff, that Texas pitching staff is better than what I thought.
Yeah.
And I still thought Texas was going to be a first place team. So it's not like Texas's pitching staff can't compete with Seattle. They can go toe to toe with Seattle. You know what I mean? And those guys come back for those offensive pieces. They have to fucking wake up. Hopefully Brett Boone can get the boys going. The big thing that I don't like about Texas right now is their bullpen. And that's going to be a trade deadline pieces that they're going to have to do. But they haven't been quiet in the past about bringing in pitchers. When they went on that World Series run, they brought a lot of pitchers in. They've been able to do that. So they're not shy when it comes to bringing in pitchers. But they have to stay afloat so they can be buyers at the deadline.
But that is the thing with a lot of that's the argument you can make with a lot of teams, though, is they need bullpen pieces. And there's not a whole lot to go around, as we know. There isn't people are going to be fighting. Some bad teams who have some of these good bullpen pieces are gonna get some damn good talent, because a lot of teams are like, it's gonna be our last chance. We want to win now, this and that. So I think there's going to be some movement at the trade deadline. I'm hoping as a Phillies fan there's movement at the trade deadline. We need it. Other teams need it. Texas needs it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with that. But on that note, do we want to move into the little rookie rankings?
Our rookies, because they changed greatly since the last time we did it.
I know, it's pretty crazy. So I'll read. I think we did this end of April or mid-April, right?
Something like that.
And so the only people I had that are on this list were Augustin and Cruz, and I had Cruz I actually had Cruz in my 2 spot because I had Sasaki at my number 1, thinking he was going to turn it around. Horrible by me. Sasaki did not turn it around, but obviously we're looking at this: AJ Smith-Shawver at the top, Baldwin 2, Ramirez 3, Acuna 4, Cruz 5. I know Cruz is leading all rookies in home runs right now. He still averages below what they wanted at. Augustin Ramirez kind of shocked people. I'm not going to lie to you. That was a completely pull out of left field for me. I didn't know a whole lot about this guy, but I liked what happened when he was first coming up. But one guy, neither of us, did you touch on him last time with AJ Smith-Shawver?
No, he was nowhere to be seen last time.
Yeah, and he's come out and shocked some people. He's been the best pitcher in that rotation so far this year. Sale has been Sale kind of looking lackluster, and Schwelly not really getting it done. He's kind of held it down for him.
Yeah, I'd love to see AJ Smith-Shawver. I like to call him Shover because he shoves. I'd love to see him at number 1. It's rightfully deserved, and he's finally getting his flowers. He was a guy that I guess he was pitching when last time we talked about it, but ain't no one know who the fuck he was. And now he's done it at a consistent rate. He's gotten more innings, more starts. He continues to be a dude. And what was his whole thing? Why the fuck did he even come in? Did he come up when Strider got banged up the second time? I don't know. Well,
Yeah.
they sent Elder fucking down. They opted him to AAA, I think, or the DFA just says. I don't know, but I mean he's out of the pen now, so he's out of the picture because you got to make room when Strider comes back, and you're not going to touch Shawver. He's been a fucking dog. So love to see him there, and his teammate Drake Baldwin, who actually was I don't know if he was an honorable mention for me last time. He was gonna be, but then when we did National League fucking ones, I forgot about Dylan Cruz and Sasaki when we were doing our lists. So you went. That's why I told you to go first the one time. I was like, you go first because my list fucking stinks. And then I think I had to cut Drake Baldwin to make room for the Sasakis and the Cruzes of the world because Cruz wasn't really doing it, but I gave him a little upper edge. I think he was maybe started to come around. Well, he came back down now, so he looks good at number 5. Okay, give Ramirez his flowers. We got to see more out of him. But my one at the time, I think it was towards the end of April, so about a month ago.
Yeah.
Because I remember saying through the first month and some change of the season, Luis Angel will be my NL Rookie of the Year. It's just also a bad class, and it makes sense that he's trended down. Not going to do it in the power department, but maybe he's been playing a little bit of third and second. Could steal bags. If his batting average stays above 270, he'll enter this conversation, which it kind of has. But it's good to see some more rookies come out of the woodworks here, especially Shawver, because he deserves to be number 1 for sure.
Acuna he plays a really good glove. I'll say that too. I know he plays pretty solid, and he's now platooning with McNeil being back. So they're kind of trying to platoon him with him. He's not really getting the reps that he was at the beginning of the year. And I'm still hopeful for Dylan Cruz. I think he's a good baseball player. He plays a tremendous right field. He's a very good glove out there. And we see the homers start to uptick a little bit more every now and again. He's leading the league in home runs for rookies. So that's something, right? That's something. He also plays the most out of most rookies, except for maybe Campbell over at the Red Sox. But breaking news. Cruz got hurt yesterday, actually.
Did he? I saw he took fucking Strider deep. I didn't see his injury.
I think I saw a little bit of it. I didn't know if it was actually serious or not. Let's look at this up. Let's look at this. Dylan Cruz injury. Looks like he's getting an MRI tomorrow. His lower back, left sides. They seem to have a little bit of concern. We got it from Dag, and they're a day-to-day thing. So, I'm still hopeful for him. I'm a Dylan Cruz believer. What I guess you could say.
We'll see his status when he gets that MRI back. But I guess that sucks. But hopefully there's not a Wally Pipp situation. How about this? The AL side.
A lot more interesting than the NL side. I mean, I'll say that much. There's some guys on this list who are either started out pretty hot. Let me just touch on some of the guys who aren't on this list right now. Jackson Jobe, who I think we both had on our list at the beginning of the year. Actually, maybe 1 or 2, because I love Jacob Wilson. But 1 or 2, he's not anywhere to be seen. He started trending down a little bit. I think he's got an ERA of over 4 right now. Once again, he's a rookie. He's allowed to have these outings, but I still do like Jackson Jobe a lot. Nick Kurtz got the late season call up. He's only hitting like 222 right now with 2 home runs. He's a big boy. Those home runs will follow. Just has to get settled in, like what he's doing. And then kind of one of the most electrifying players in baseball, man. Chandler Simpson, the center fielder over there for the Rays. And then you also have like Cameron Meisner, right?
Yeah,
He was electric at the beginning of the year, but the AL has a lot more promising young talent. Guess we can touch on the list right now. Jacob Wilson at 1, much deserving, still hitting the shit, high average guy. You know, the A's have come back down to earth, but I'm still a Jacob Wilson fan. The guy who is the most interesting on this list to me is Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell, I remember in the beginning of the year, I was like, wow, this guy has the potential to be like an all-star this season. He's killing it. He has come back down to earth. I know he had an injury scare at one point, but he hasn't had a multi-hit game spin since April the 29th. April 29th. So he's starting to trend down, but also once again, they're talking about him moving to first base because Devers won't. So it's wild over there in Boston right now. I was a big believer in him. I don't even know if he deserves to be 2 right now. He's hitting 229. He's got 5 bombs and 15 ribbies on the year. That's no slouch for a rookie, right? But I mean, he was hitting like, I'm pretty sure over 300 when we were talking about him before, and he has really come back down to earth.
Yeah, I don't know how high my hopes were for him to be that 300 fucking hitter in his rookie year, but
Yeah.
I think the good thing about him, he's a big barrel guy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he hits the ball hard. We'll see what position he ends up fucking playing. I think the anticipation on his name alone might put him at second. But at the same time, who would you put? You're not going to put Dominguez ahead of him. You could put Shane Smith ahead. I like to see Shane Smith on this list. If you really wanted to go nuts, you could maybe cut some of these motherfuckers off this list and put a Chandler Simpson. Chandler Simpson is probably number 6. I think if the list were to extend, Simpson probably looks good. He's hitting, I don't know what he did yesterday, but entering yesterday, he was hitting just above 300. And his thing is stolen bases, so I'm not going to judge him on like his power and shit like that. But very electric. And then the other guy is Jack Leiter, who I don't think it's fair to put him on this list. Holy shit, he's hitting 229. Christian Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad stuff. Either way, Leiter, I think I honestly would probably take Christian Campbell off this fucking list. I think Dominguez had passed him in the rankings. I put Shade Smith at 2. I don't even know if I'd put Dominguez on this list. I don't hate to see Sugano, and then I would if I'm taking 2 guys off. Who are the 2 I'm putting on? It would be Simpson and maybe Leiter at like 5.
Yeah, but Leiter he has been on the IL a little bit. He did have a great start his last outing, right? But he had some rough starts at the beginning of the year, didn't he?
No, well, he got rough starts after coming off the IL.
That's what it was. Okay. But then was it him? When did he? I feel like he just had a insanely good start.
His last 2 have been quality starts, a win and a no decision. So he's looked good as of late.
But I need to. Can we touch on Jason Dominguez before we leave real quick?
Yeah,
Jason Dominguez is a horrible left fielder.
He's picking it up.
No, he is not. I've seen clips of some of the most catchable balls. He just does not attack the baseball, which is wild. Because wasn't he a center fielder coming up?
In the minors, I think he played more center.
So how is it? Why is he not attacking the baseball? Why is he just letting these things drop like right in front of him?
He's an asshole. I don't know what to tell you. He's an ass. He has been better. If you've watched it, I mean, if you think he's bad now, watch it in the beginning of the year, and then you'll see he's been getting better. It's not to say he's good, but he's been getting better. So, if this is good, this is where he once was, and now he's like here. Well, there's progress. Okay, there's progress.
He's young. He's young. He also doesn't look young. He looks old as shit.
And he doesn't look fast either, but
no.
Motherfucker's quick. His biggest thing, and this has always been the narrative with him, is that he just has to play the position, right? I mean, as simple as that, as goofy as it sounds. He was always banged up. He has to be out there more, and now it's good to say. I do think there's a little bit of progress. I don't think it's as crazy. Now, anytime a ball gets hit that way and it's somewhat routine, people do I get scared, and then the announcers do make a big deal out of it. It'll just be like kind of like over his shoulder type of catch, and they'll be like, "Oh, Dominguez!" It's like, all right. It's like Chandler Simpson makes that play in his sleep. Cameron Meisner makes that play to like, come on. But he scares the hell out of me sometimes. His base running actually pissed me off over the past week or so.
Oh, you know what I was actually gonna text you about was the getting thrown out at home.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe it was one of him, but I was watching the Yankees game the other day, and they went on contact with the infield in.
Like they always
Ground ball, ground ball to the corner to the first baseman. Now I get it; it hits the right side, go. But the infield was in; it was hit to a corner. That's an easy play at home. That takes down a run. And these guys are constantly doing it. They're just it feels like nobody pauses anymore, and they all go on contact now.
It's horrible, and I don't think we ever talked about this. We talked about it like the last time I saw you, but not in the pod. Like it is ridiculous, and it's not just the Yankees. It's every team.
It's every team. It is. It's every team.
It is ridiculous. The Yankees actually have gotten away with it like a few times because you saw that play with Pete Alonso in the Subway Series, and then even earlier this time last week, maybe last Tuesday, they got away with it in Seattle a little bit. But it is ridiculous. Anytime there's a guy on third base, they just run on contact. That's it. They just run on contact. And I've been saying this I think I said it to you. I think I said it to Timmy. I was like, in high school, we get our asses kicked for that. We get chewed out in high school because what people call running on contact, most people will call it running into an out. That's what it is. They're running into an out. It blows. And in high school, it made more sense to do it because to bet on the fielder to field it cleanly and then make a strong, accurate throw you're not going to see that as much then. Maybe you'll see it more in high school than you would little league, but it feels like the higher the level, the more you don't want to do that shit. So why the fuck do they do it in the major leagues? It makes no sense to me. And I think I told you this. The one time I saw a dude on third, it might have been Corbin Carroll actually. This was a month ago, but you see it at least once a week. Guy on third, he paused, waited for the fucking third baseman to like field it, and then he ran. Like, what the fuck are you like? That's not even running on like it is. It guys, and no one ever talks about it. No one fucking talks about it. They run into outs left and fucking right. I don't know if they're betting on a bad throw, if they're thinking that they can. I don't know what the metrics are. Maybe there's it's this new era of baseball where they feel like I don't know why you're making it out at home though. I don't know. I can't justify it. Still looking for a way to do it. Crazy to me.
Yeah, like the one that happened this weekend was very glaring to me because it was corners. They still brought the infield in. Like they didn't play a double play up the middle. They still brought the infield in. But the ball was hit hard enough that there was a chance that I think it was Pete. Pete could have gone to second and they could have went for the double play. Like, and I think he was thinking that because it looked like he turned to go to second, but then saw the runner went and then he just fired it home and like made the out or something like that. I can't fathom it. I don't know why. It doesn't make because especially if they're hard hit baseballs, I don't care how you could be Corbin Carroll, you're gonna get thrown out at home. You're gonna. These are major league players. They're professional fucking athletes. They get paid to field the baseball. Stop running on fucking contact.
It makes no sense to me. And then it's like, oh, running on contact. The announcer's running on contact. Do they like? What is the like? That's not a thing.
I don't know. Like in a tight game, you got one out and you're just looking to scrounge together a run. Maybe if it's hit to the middle infielders,
I still wouldn't.
Definitely not to the corners. But if it's hit to the middle infielders, you got your like 9-hole hitter coming up. Yeah, go fucking send them. But like
maybe it becomes more of a judgment thing. I mean, in a tight game, I wouldn't do it, especially if runs are so precious in a tight game. I mean, I'm not getting thrown out the fucking dish. Fuck that. Yeah. Or if you want to get cute or run on contact, I mean, bring the suicide squeeze back or something. I don't fucking know. But like,
let's bring small ball back.
Yeah, do something like that. Or I don't know. I don't know. It pisses me off. You see it at least once a week. You really do. Maybe twice. Horrible stuff.
Let's get into our neck because we just ranted a little bit. But the Sean and Spin in the Morning Show, our first ever power ranking segment. Gonna be nice. How do we want to do this, Spin? Do we want to go with our 10s first, talk a little bit about them, you and me, and then we'll just go down the list till we get to our ones?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, you start. Give me your 10.
Well, they're in LA. And they're not the Dodgers.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Well, what's the metrics for this power ranking?
I don't know. I mean, like, they still have to be a good team. Like here, I'll give you my 10th, right?
Okay.
I have an honorable mention. My honorable mention is the Cardinals. The Cardinals didn't make my list. I wanted to give them a shout out.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, they've been good. But in my 10 hole, I have the Twins. The
Okay.
Twins have that so far this year have the
Who's your fucking top 5 then, guy?
would you put them in the top 5?
I mean, closer to the 5 than you.
What the only reason I didn't put them closer to my 5 is because I have no idea what's going on with Correa and Buxton. Are they back? Are they playing?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Exactly. So like
Well,
those are
we
your
gotta
two.
we gotta we gotta set the metrics of this. Is it top 10 right now? Like on May 21st?
Yeah, as of May 21st. The Angels aren't a top 10 team in baseball as of May 21st.
Right now, if we were to put a power rankings out, they're on a 5-game win streak, and they got, and I don't know, that's a fucking top.
They're
Nope.
still 22 and 25.
Yeah, I did it as like this week power rankings.
Oh no, this is like up until the 21st.
Well, our metrics are different then.
This is I have like up until the 21st, like the whole season up until the 21st, not just this week.
Okay, then I can adjust. I can adjust to
Okay.
that.
Well, then I'll give you mine. The Twins had the highest winning streak in baseball. Got cut down. They're still 9-1. Their pitching staff has had 2 horses up in front with the Lopez and Ryans. Only reason why they're so low is because of what happened with Correa and Buxton. I'm not sure. Those are your 2 best players, your 2 leaders. And we've seen this in the past with the Twins where the injury bug kind of gets them, bites them in the ass, and then they look like the Twins of the past. So that's the only reason I have them at my 10 and they're not any higher.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Let me just do a quick arrow so I can get my shit together here. Okay, I think I'm okay. We'll see. It might be a little weird because I did a different one. I was doing like this week's power rankings. But with that being said, at my new number 10, if we're going based on first almost 2 months, I hold the Padres at number 10. I hate the Padres. They're a 3rd place team right now. I'm going to value teams higher in the standings. So I mean, there's 2 teams higher in their own division. So fuck them. They don't score a lot of runs. They're good run differential. Don't get me wrong, but they don't score a lot of runs. Fuck them. They're my number 10.
All right. So my number 9 is actually the Padres. We touched on them a lot earlier, so I'll keep it nice and short and sweet. They're on a 4-game losing streak right now. They start off the season hot, 14-3. I think has how they started the season, and they've been below 500 ever since. So it's hard to put them any higher than what I have them. I do like the star potential that they have on their team. If C's can find it, maybe they'll look to climb. If C's doesn't find it, they might find themselves falling a little bit more and missing the playoffs, like you said. But I'm keeping the Padres at my 9 for now. Which way they're going to trend, I have no fucking idea. I think anybody's lying to you if they have any idea what the Padres are going to end up doing. But what do you got for 9, Spin?
I got Seattle. There. Now they're still a first place. I'm sorry. I got the Giants. There. A second place T that they climb back in second because of how bad the Padres have been doing. But San Fran's been doing enough to stay afloat right there. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw that coming to this extent. I saw them being better than what they were last year. I don't know if I saw them being this good. Now they're a second place team. They're not going to go crazy for me, like on how high my rankings go, but they deserve to be in this top 10 for sure.
Gotcha. So my number 8 actually is the Giants. So you just kind of hit on it. They haven't done anything spectacular. They are in the hardest division in baseball and number 2 in the hardest division in baseball. So I let that carry a lot of weight for me. I like that. They're 5-5 in their last 10. So once again, come back a little bit back down to earth. But we're Logan Webb believers. We love the grandson of the wind. They just don't do a whole lot for me in the long run. But what they're doing right now, you have to take note of it. They're at my number 8 spot.
Okay, my number 8 is now going to be the Seattle Mariners, first place team, but maybe one of the worst first place teams. This, in my opinion, and also win percentage wise, I guess 27 wins at first place. Yeah, technically is the worst, but still, I mean, they're first place team. They got to show a little bit of love. They've been playing little bit different than what I thought. I touched on their offense before. A little bit different than I thought they were going to be because there's got a lot of pitching and bullpen with them, but their offense has kind of been a big storyline. So good for them, but they deserve to make this list, but not super high for me. They're still going to make the back end though at number 8, Seattle.
Yeah, so it is kind of funny because I have Seattle at my number 7. So it seems like I have these guys just one more up than you, but we agree on the same reasons. I think they're the worst first place team that's out there. They are getting a lot of help from low role players who historically have not been great in the past. So they're just maybe they're just hot right now. Hey, maybe they keep it up. Maybe the boys over in Seattle like J.P. Crawford, uh, keep hitting the baseball. I think Cal Riley's a stud. Julio Rodriguez will come back around. We'll see how that pitching staff looks once they Woo's obviously look great, but we don't know how Kirby and Gilbert are going to be once they get off the IL. So I'm keeping them at 7, 7 for now. I just think they're the worst first place team as of right now.
That's your 7. My 7 is St. Louis.
Okay.
My 7 is St. Louis. Now, who between Seattle and St. Louis, who can do it longer? Probably Seattle.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And I don't have either of them as playoff teams, but I think Seattle's kind of more built for that. St. Louis is kind of, they've been hot, but they've been the hotter team. So that's why I give them a little more love. They have the same amount of wins, a little bit worse of a win percentage, but same amount of wins, only 2 games back. And, when you do these power rankings, I mean, listen, you could stroll into the playoffs as a 5 seed, but if you're a hotter team than a fucking 3 seed, I mean, wouldn't you be higher in the rankings? So you have to go on who's hot right now. And if they have the same amount of wins, I'm going to take the team who's a little bit hotter and give them one extra spot up, even though it's a second place team ahead of a first place team. And the first place team might be more built for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But them take the hotter team to give them the tick ahead of them. So St. Louis at 7.
I don't hate that because they did go. They went on. That's why I at least wanted to make them an honorable mention because they did have a good streak there and their team's looking good. Mason Wynn has come kind of into his own too over there at short, so it's good to see. But
Yeah, he was batting 2 yesterday. I like that.
What's up?
He was batting 2 yesterday. Love to see that for win.
Yeah. So my next team, I think we're at 6, right? We just did 7. We're at 6. I got the New York Mets, not the Yankees. Don't worry, the Yankees are a little higher, but the Mets. We can't. We talked about Soto and how much of a bitch he's been, but the Mets have been on a little bit of a skid later. If you asked me maybe a week ago, the Mets would probably be a little bit higher. They were a first place team a week ago. Not any longer. Mets are always going to keep the apple in the hole, but have a good team. Pitching has looked good. Lindor's a beast, obviously, but Mets are always going to Met, and I'm looking for them to drop in this power rankings come next month.
Love it. My 6 is Minnesota, a team who's only going to proven that they could climb in these power rankings. Second place team again, but you got to show them love. 9-1 in their last 10. Again, this isn't a top 5 team, but I think it deserves to be on the little bit of the outskirts of a top 5, and they've jumped up greatly. They've been hotter than the Padres, hotter than Seattle, hotter than San Fran, even hotter than St. Louis a little bit, and they jumped up greatly in what is. I mean, you talk about how the NL West is the best division, which it very well could be. I don't know if the AL Central is that far behind it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. But now we get into our top 5.
Yeah.
So for my 5th, I got the Chicago Cubs.
Me too.
In at 5. You guys them at 5.
It's a good spot for them. It's a good
Okay.
spot for them.
So I think we almost gave them a little too much for their strength of schedule. Like we were like, oh, this is awesome. Like they're playing really good baseball in their strength of schedule. They're 29-20. It's still a very good record for what they have been playing. PCA out in centers, slowly becoming one of my favorite players in baseball. Not getting enough love, I don't think, because the guy in right field, Kyle Tucker, who deserves to get the love, also is getting most of the attention right now. Yeah, Seiya Suzuki out in left. He's been playing well. Tyone put on a good performance to begin with as well. So I mean, they got a very complete lineup. They're going to be around come October. I think if I say so myself, they are going to teeter around this 4, 5, 6 in the power rankings for probably the remainder of the year. their pitching doesn't blow you away. You know, you think about things. Actually, you're a big fan of their. Are you a big fan of their pitching staff? Or you like Boyd? Is it Boyd?
I like Boyd, and I didn't hate
Yeah.
their staff at first. They're definitely in need of some deadline pieces. It's
Yeah.
evident what they need, right?
So yeah, it's the I think they got a lot of power in that offense, and that offense is going to keep them right around this 4, 5, 6 area for their power rankings.
I agree. I think they can do enough with their staff. Again, they did a good job early. I mean, they did exactly what they had to do in the first month and a half of the season, where they saw the schedule and they saw that it was a difficult schedule, and they pounded teams. I shouldn't say pounded, but they do score a lot of runs, and they did basically been in first place the whole year, and they got through the tough shit. Now maybe they come back down to earth, but the schedule gets a little bit nicer, so they can stay afloat for that. They can stay afloat with that. They've had proven to score a lot of runs. They have a little bit of identity now. Also, in the midst of that, Steele goes down. Imanaga goes down. I think Steele's out for the fucking year. Don't know Imanaga's deal. They're going to need him back, but it is evident what they need. They need more depth in that rotation. They've been getting good outings thus far with some of these sneaky guys. Like and I don't even know if good at, but they've proven to compete and come out of the woodworks and give something. Don't know if I don't like their pen. I don't think they like their pen. They have to figure some shit out there because that's going to be scary. But I agree with you. They're probably, we look at the top 10, I think there's probably a good 4 or 5 that could be better than them. And then they're probably 4 or 5 ahead of most people. And also, if they're going to be in first place for a good chunk of the season, they got to be kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But then on to 4. Let me see what we got here. On 4, I got your boys, New York Yankees. Which, hey, a lot of people are going to say, hey, this is low. Because right now, the Yankees look like an extremely complete team. Their starting pitching is putting it together. Who knows what their bullpen kind of look like? I think Luke Weaver's been lights out for him. Correct me if I'm wrong. But their pitching has started to come around. I don't know if their starting pitchers are going to keep it up. I think Max Fried will. I'm not sure about the rest of the staff. But right now, what really scares me most about the Yankees in the long term is they are an extremely streaky team. Every person in that lineup, except you can take out Goldschmidt and Judge, really, they're going to be solid for you, I guess. But like Belly, Jason Dominguez, he's young. Ben Rice, he's a young guy who we don't know what's going to happen with him. But big news, the addition of DJ LeMahieu, gives you a little bit more depth there, which who knows? We'll see. But I'm high on the Yankees right now. I think they're playing a very good brand of baseball. I just don't think that they're better than the next 3 teams I'm going to list.
Yeah, that's going to be my point. The Yankees are at 4. There's 3 teams that are better, and I think our next 3 are pretty much the top 4 or 5 that we have are record-wise. I think because I'm just guessing your top 3, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a 3 that are better than the Yankees. They're number 4. That's fine.
So my number 3 team is the boys over in the Central, in the second hardest division in baseball. I have the Detroit Tigers, who are sitting at 32-17 on the year, led by our manager of the year right now, AJ Hinch. I need from you to start putting some respect on those boys in that lineup.
You got them at 3. They're the best record in baseball. You got them at 3. Yeah, you put respect on them.
What do you have them at? 1?
Yeah.
No, I guess that's fair. But I just think the Dodgers and the Phillies are better.
I figured we had the same in our 3. It's just a matter of who had them where.
But you keep talking these past couple podcasts. You've been talking. Oh, they're gonna fall. Oh, you're gonna fall.
I do think they fall.
But I like the starting pitching that they have over there. I know. Was it Mize just went to the IL?
Yeah.
I guess like most people, you're always scared when that starts to happen. How are they going to replace him? But they're a good team over there, led by some of the young guys in Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter. But then the resurgence of Javi Baez, your Gleyber Torres of the world. Like they have a more complete team than a lot of people think. But I still think my next 2 are better than them.
Okay, then you know what I'm going to put at 3. I'm going to put the Dodgers at 3.
Yeah.
Dodgers at 3. Yeah, good record. 30. Really good record. I mean, probably the best division, right? As we say, then they're leading the way. We expect them to lead the way. Now, almost for the same reasons that you could shit on Soto, right? It's because when someone's so good or something so good, all eyes on you. And if the moment you do like the worst thing ever. Oh, people are going to shit on you. That's what the Dodgers are feeling right now too, because they make all these moves and they're supposed to be. Everyone thought they were going to be. What do they have? 49, 59, whatever it is. Everyone thought they were going to be 49-0 at this point. It's like, hey, they're going to lose games, guys. So fucking relax. So they're still top 3. You can have them top 2. You can have them at 1. I don't give a shit. But the fact of the matter is, I do think there's 2 teams that are better than them right now. And they've been losing some series a little bit much. You know what I mean? You want to see them take care of business. They got some injuries. They still have things to figure out. No team is perfect. We always knew that. But I think the respectable thing is them at 3.
I will say this. So I have the Dodgers at 2 right now. And you're right in the sense that like the record probably should play a little bit more for me. Like the Tigers have the best record in baseball, so like that probably should have played a little bit more for me. But what has impressed me so much with the Dodgers is just the depth that they have on their team. It's unbelievable. They've had as many injuries as probably anybody in the league, and yet they still are sitting at, what'd you say, 30-19?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. You're talking about like some of the people who are like Will Smith is having an unbelievable year. He's hitting 339. They're just getting Tommy Edman back this week. I know they just dropped 2 vets. Actually, Chris Taylor got released, DFA'd, and Austin Barnes, also their longtime catcher, got DFA'd as well. But Shohei kind of started off slow to the season. He's got 17 home runs now. Freddie Freeman's hitting 371 right. Like the star power that is over there, it's crazy. And they have had injuries. They have dropped. They just got swept by the Angels, which who would have thought that would have happened, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that scares me a little bit about the Dodgers is their pitching. Like the injuries that just seem to keep rolling over. And, because I think Glasnow, he's still hurt, right?
Yep. So
Glasnow's still hurt. Yamamoto's still dealing. Dustin May hasn't looked great. Sasaki hasn't looked great. They just put little Nick Knack over there, but he's sitting at 617. Dude, they've thrown. Let's see how many starting pitchers they've thrown so far this year.
Fuck ton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. It's only 8, which is weird. I would have said, hold on. Never mind. 9, 10, 14 people have started a game for the Dodgers this year so far. 14 fucking people have started pitching for the Dodgers so far this year. That is insane. And they are still 30-19.
Yeah, good for that. Good for that. I think there will be, for as much as we can critique them because they are what they look like, and they are the world champions. So people are always gonna critique that shit. For as much as we're gutted, they'll probably be in the top 3 pretty much the whole year.
Yeah. Who's your 2?
2 is the Phils.
Yeah.
2 is the Phils with the best record in the National League. So you got to respect it. 5-game win streak. They're playing great ball. Very well could have been number 1. Very well could have been. But let's get them going in a pace where they can get through Pittsburgh, get through Colorado, and then who knows who they come up next. I mean, they have the A's, I think, next.
Yeah, the A's. So
get through the A's. Yeah, continue to beat up on, when your schedule looks like this, continue to beat up on it. They granted when they played the Cardinals, they put an end to their win streak, but what were they going to do? Cardinals going to win fucking, the next 50 in a row. Someone had to do it, and the Phillies are a good enough team to do it. But then they came out in the second game of that doubleheader. We know what they look like, and even game 1, I don't know if they look great. So there's been some games against a hot Cardinals team that I'd like to see them be a little bit more in that type of I shouldn't say that type of atmosphere because we know that they're good with that, but just to, when those teams are rolling, be their nightmare, as Gruden would say, right? Be their fucking nightmare. I'd love to see that, but granted, they don't get swept. They're good enough to compete in these things, but sometimes when they look bad, they look horrible. At least in that Cardinal series, and then they can bounce back and then sweep. But I like that they bounce back and swept past Pittsburgh because that's exactly what they should have fucking did. Now they win the first 2 games of the Rockies series. Fucking win all 4. Who gives a rat's ass? You know what I mean? Fucking go in with the A's. They're 4 games below. Go in and kick their fucking ass. But now you have to really bring your shit together. If in the midst of this bad under 500 schedule can ignite Bohm, which it has been, it seems like, and these guys can start to get going and Harper shaves his head and gets going, great. Because now when the moment you have to play fucking, I don't know, the Cubs or some shit, or the Giants or the whatever, the moment you have to play one of those motherfucking teams, don't look back and continue to roll, continue to stay hot. But until they can do that, then they're still number 2. But 2 is a good spot.
The one thing I've had, so with why they're in my number 1 so far this year, it's obviously because I've watched them the most out of all of these teams. And right now, with how their whole entire lineup is firing on all cylinders, I know we just lose Alvarado, which makes it the bullpen 10 times worse, which scares me half to death. But right now they're on a 5-game win streak. They got it this month, the month of May. They had the Pirates, they got the Rockies, but then on the back end they have the A's, Braves, and Brewers. All teams they should take care of business. I need to see this team come out of this, at least this away stint that they have. I want to see in the last 10, 9-1. They can drop one. I'll give them one. They got a lot of games to play in a row. Just go handle business. Gain some ground on this Mets team. I like what they're doing. Bryce is starting to come alive, and I said when Bryce goes, this whole team's going to go. When Bryce is working up. Schwarber and Turner have kind of kept us there so far. Now Bryce has got to extend it, let these young guys start to go, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you know what? The Braves are 24-24, Milwaukee's 24-25. The Phillies have this is the second day being king of the hill.
Yeah,
in that division.
What I didn't touch on this either, but I just saw this, and what scares me a little bit, their run differential is only at 33. So they've been playing some tight games. 33 is actually the worst out of all the teams with positive, minus Arizona, who's only +6. But it's with positive run differentials in the NL, they are actually the worst. Atlanta's +9 and Arizona's +6. But out of top 2 teams, they don't look too hot in that department. So that does scare me a little bit, but it means they've been winning close games because in the past, guess what? Phillies lose those games 9 times out of 10. So it is kind of a good sign also.
You know? I guess they might also be putting themselves in close games with that fucking bullpen.
Well,
but hey,
they are.
If you know, what's his name? Romano can continue to find it. You know, he was probably a big reason as to why that they were in some of those close games early, but he seems to be better now. But yeah, you got the Braves at 500, and Milwaukee a game below. Phillies are now the king of the hill. When you're the king of the hill and you are facing, I know this is a little whiles away, but when you got a team like Atlanta, who's in your own damn division, a team like Milwaukee, who it doesn't see themselves as a 4th place team, you know, and now they're going to want to pounce on these motherfuckers. These teams see themselves as playoff teams. So I know that their record doesn't show it, but these teams were playoff teams last year. They see themselves as playoff teams. They see themselves as professionals. And now the Phillies are the king of the hill. Everyone wants to tear you down. And those are the types of teams that really want to do it because they have really yet to get on track. So they need that series too. So that'll be interesting there because those could be a fucking dog fight. I hope it is. That'd be crazy.
Oh, hold on.
And by the way, my honorable mention is the Diamondbacks. And I didn't have the Mets on my list. Fucking A. But I can make a case why they shouldn't be. You know why? They fucking suck. Who the fuck wants to hang out with the Mets?
No,
they are really, really bad.
Juan Soto looks like a tush push.
What pieces are Seattle missing to make them complete team? They have the best closer and number 1 catcher. Rotation is hurt, but has always been good. Offense has been good this year. What pieces is Seattle missing? Let's think about it.
Well, my whole thing with Seattle is I don't think the guys that are hot right now are going to continue to be hot. That's just what I think. I don't think Jorge Polanco is going to keep up the streak that he's had because he's been unbelievable. And J.P. Crawford was like he's a really good hitter this year, but in the past has not been. So that's the part that worries me a little bit. And I don't like Julio Rodriguez. You would have thought by now would have started to amplify a little bit, and he hasn't. So that's my main points with these things.
Yeah, and even still, they're still a first place team, even
Yeah.
with But here's my thing, because I has actually started to think now that we're about 50 games in. I know it's still the deadline's far away, but I keep thinking of like what teams, because you kind of have a sense of how teams are right now, and it's crazy. I love the deadline. For me, they don't, if as long as they continue to win this division, you're not going to need a hell of a lot. You like to believe that Gilbert and Bryce Miller are going to come back, and Woo's there. As long as you have three guys for the playoffs, you're really good. And they could even have a few guys in the back end that can, if you really needed arms. So they seem to be a good in the good in the arm department, seem to be good. But I agree though with Sean. If I don't think their offense continues, now who cares a shit what we think as long as they keep producing. But if Dylan Moore has to continue to be that guy, I don't know if I hate their outfield. The Rosarina, J Rod, who's the other fucker? Who knows?
I just had this shit up.
Who knows? What I would really like for them though. Now, number one, pitching is never a bad idea. So even if you got some middle reliever, arms for the playoffs is what you need. I know they have some arms. Never a bad idea to get more pitching. I love that for the playoffs. For them, I'd love to see them get like a first baseman or a big hitter, a guy who could play first, a guy who could play DH. Maybe he's a left field / DH. Maybe he's a first baseman / DH. I would love something like that. Just to deepen a lineup, give you an extra bat, maybe someone you could put in the 5-hole or some shit like that. I'm really curious to see what their lineup looks like. Some type of power source. I know Cal Riley is a great power source. I'd love to see a little bit more boom in the middle of that lineup. I was making the fucking case why they should just sign fucking Anthony Rizzo. I don't think they're going to do that now. I don't think they would do that now, but he's a left-handed bat, a Gold Glover. Who plays first for him now? Rowdy Tellez and Donovan Solano?
Yeah. And then, you were making the point of right field. It seems like they've been platooning. Like, Dylan Moore's been kind of, like, bouncing all over the place. It looks like they got Tavares and then Luke Riley. Who's on the IL right now.
So they kind of like Tavares. He got DFA'd by Texas, and then they picked them up. So their outfield's not their weakest spot, and we knew that going in with the Rosarina and J Rod. It was a big question mark in the infield, and if Dylan Moore answers some questions, and the way Polanco's been playing great, I'd love to see them get a DH first baseman type. I don't have faith in Mitch Haniger.
Do you think they go out and get like Luis Roberts from the White Sox?
That's interesting. What would that end up doing? I think they like their outfield.
Yeah, I think they do too, and I don't think they're going to move Polanco from their. I think they have Polanco in their DH spot most of the time, don't they?
I guess, and that opens up a door in the third or second.
Yeah, so
I would love them to do something like that. I mean, if Moore could play, either one of those guys could play third base. Either one of those guys could play second. If it opens doors for a DH and a big hitter in like the 5-hole, a ribby guy. At this stage of the game, I don't think they would do Rizzo, but I was like, Rizzo hasn't been signed for how fucking long? He's still a free agent. What teams need a first baseman? And I was like, well, this team is a team that very well could compete, and they have been. Why don't they do something like that? But I don't think it's going to be a Rizzo type. They're going to want a guy who's more established at the deadline, or at least who's been playing all fucking year. But I think a first baseman DH or a left field DH, some guy that could DH and play some of these big slugger positions and give you that type of production.
What about like Brenton Doyle at the Rockies and stuff like that? Like he's got a little pop to him too, but once again, another outfielder.
Yeah, and again, another like center fielder. They're kind of good in that department. I'm like, I have to like think of what even type of first baseman would fucking be out there? Spencer Horwitz? No.
Like, do you think like who do they have playing first over at the O's right now?
That's a good one. Like a Mountcastle would be nice.
Yeah, some like that. Maybe they go inquire, send one of these pitchers over there because we know they have a surplus, and like
What's the deal with them? Is Tavares a lefty? Might be. They got a couple switch hitters.
Yeah, so
I don't know if they want to go lefty heavy. If they want to do something lefty, maybe they put because I was thinking about that. The O's could be sellers.
Yeah,
I mean, they should be. We'll see how they trend. But if they're continuing to play this game or play this brand of baseball, they're fucking sellers. And then who do they sell? And I was thinking about this last night. It's Mountcastle, O'Hearn, I think, and maybe Mullins. Those are the guys.
Mullins. Like Mullins is probably the hottest commodity on that team right now. Like come trade deadline. He's an older dude. They're not going to get rid of any of their young guys.
Yeah,
they're not gonna. That's not going to be a thing. But a Cedric Mullins could really help out a team who's lacking in the outfield.
That would be interesting. I don't mind like an O'Hearn or a Mountcastle or fucking both for fucking Seattle. Fucking, I don't know. You might have to give up a lot for both of them. But I like what are the other. I like that for like a first base DH type of dude.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one though. And again, depth is never a bad idea. Pitching is never a bad idea. Fucking love that. I want to talk more about these trade deadline pieces because as we continue to move forward.
That could be our next Wednesday segment.
Trade deadline. Trade deadline.
When is the trade deadline? July 31st.
Is it July 31st?
July 31st. So, hey.
Oh, that was
it's the end of May. We're almost 2 months away.
August.
A little over 2 months away.
Wow. The deadline. That's the best time of year. I don't give a shit about the All-Star game. I like the trade
the deadline's awesome.
That's the most exciting. It's the most riveting. Well,
it's been pretty lackluster for the Phils in the past. But, hey, this is the year I need Dombrowski to buckle up, baby. Go get me a fucking lefty. Go get me a lefty.
We'll see who all the contenders can fucking get. I don't know. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. And shout out to the morning. Back in the morning. Presented by Off-Base Media. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Like and subscribe. Thank you.